Hey everybody, welcome to a new mini-series that I'm doing on my channel called LvXIII. In this series, I will be explaining plots to video games that I kinda hear people say are complicated or that they don't fully understand, or just any games that I want to, really. And for this first video, I've decided to do Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep, because that's a game I really like, and lots of people say that the series as a whole is confusing, so why not? By the way, don't expect a video on Kingdom Hearts 1 or anything coming up soon. I'm going to be taking this at my own pace, and I may not even do those games in this series, so, you know, just do whatever at my own pace. So, yeah, without further ado, Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep, LvXIII. By the way, obviously, there's going to be spoilers in this. Hope you enjoy! The game starts in the Land of Departure, with a group of young Keyblade wielders, meaning that they are warriors, who battle with giant, and usually very blunt, keys that act very much like swords. After a quick tutorial, we see these three talking. The three are Terra, a brunette with a, quote, darkness within him, a blonde kid called Ventus, or Ven for short, who is friendly and quick, and also Aqua, the stereotypical girl of the group. They are all friends, and to prove this before the important and challenging Mark of Mastery exam, Aqua presents the three with homemade good luck charms, even though only she and Terra are taking part. She probably just had some spare materials. Before the day ends, the three watch shooting stars and look out into space. The next day, the group greets their teacher, Master Ericus, and his fellow Keyblade Master, Xehanort. As they prepare to face their test, Ericus wishes them luck. Meanwhile, Xehanort flexes his hands as the challenge appears. Floating balls. As good a test as any other. Suddenly, clearly, not at the will of the clearly not suspicious Xehanort, the floating balls are enveloped in a darkness, becoming only slightly more of a threat, attacking everyone in the area. Well, anyone that's not a Keyblade Master. After surviving the deadly trial, the two are then instructed to duel, as a battle of equals shows a person's true nature. Due to this, Terra shows a slightly darker nature, which pleases Xehanort and worries Ericus. By the end of the exam, it appears that only Aqua was master material. Terra leaves and sulks. Ventus goes to his room, and Aqua stays with the master to be told some necessary information for her new duties. Terra, who's still upset, is greeted by Xehanort, who seems to try to comfort him. At the same time, a masked boy appears in Ventus's room and promptly warns and mocks Ven about what is about to happen, mainly that Terra will change. Ventus runs away to find Terra and to talk to him. Shortly, an alarm goes off, and Terra and Aqua are the only ones there. Ericus explains that they were contacted by LvXIII, the sorcerer from the Disney films. LvXIII had claimed that a species of creatures called the Unversed were causing problems in all the worlds. Ericus claims that he tried to pass the news on to Xehanort, who seems to have gone missing, despite talking to Terra a short time ago. The two are then tasked with defeating the Unversed and finding the missing master. Before letting Terra leave, Ericus says that if Terra achieves his mission, he may be promoted to master. Terra leaves the hall. Talking to Aqua, Ericus asks her to watch over Terra and ensure that the darkness doesn't consume him. She then, too, leaves. As Terra is about to leave, Ven runs up to him, and despite his attempts to stop him, Terra leaves, which prompts Ven to leave the Land of Departure. This, in turn, causes Aqua to have to find him as well as her other tasks, and bring him home. 3 paths, 3 changing destinies. The three travel through numerous Disney worlds and help those they meet in their push through their struggles, and learn more about each other. Terra is fixated on finding the missing Xehanort, Aqua on watching Terra and completing her mission, and Ben on finding his friends. Although there are many individual stories to explain, I am going to concentrate on only a select few. The first world that Terra arrives at, he encounters the strange creatures called the Unversed. These creatures lead him to a castle, and waiting outside it is an inhabitant of the land. When Terra talked to this person, he asked her about Xehanort, to which she says that she doesn't know the man. She does direct Terra to one whose heart is light. Curious, Terra follows the suggestion. When Terra found the light, a princess called Aurora, he turns to find the person behind him. She claims that the princess is sleeping. She also reveals that she wanted her light. This person is Maleficent. She uses the darkness inside Terra to control him and take the princess's heart. After this, Terra started to fear his darkness and strive to find a way to make sure it could never be used against him. Meanwhile, Ventus finds the masked boy and demanded answers, which he did not get. The two fought, and Ventus is swiftly defeated. As the boy was about to kill his opponent, a figure appears, a small, smiling mouse, Mickey. The two defeat the boy, who manages to escape just as Mickey leaves. Mickey appears time and again in this story. However, he appears at random because in his possession he has a star shard that transports him anywhere, but he cannot control it. Terra soon finds Xehanort. The Master explains to Terra why he left and how the Unversed pose a bigger problem than first thought, as well as the fact that a mysterious boy in a mask called Vanitas is controlling them. This boy is the same as the one that provoked Ventus. Xehanort then explains that years earlier he was the master of Ventus, and that he had removed his darkness, which then took the form of Vanitas. After this, Ventus was weak, and Xehanort decided to take him to Ericus. This convinces Terra to find and destroy the masked boy before he can hurt his friend. After this, Terra leaves to travel to a world called Radiant Garden. Here, the three friends meet again. Before finding a giant Unversed, Terra finds a book and gives it to a passing old man named Merlin. The book is called The 100-Acre Woods. Ventus, who was brought to this world by Mickey, encounters a group of mysterious people who he saves from the Unversed. He then sees a giant Unversed and follows. Aqua arrives and encounters a small girl and her grandmother. As a battle commences, the girl runs behind Aqua and touches her keyblade. After the fight, Aqua meets Mickey, who then leaves. Aqua, like the others, then sees a giant Unversed enemy. The three students gather as they follow the giant Unversed and fight alongside one another to defeat it. The three then talk, with Ventus giving each of them lifetime passes to a world, which was given to him by a Scottish duck. Aqua then reveals that she was ordered to watch Terra, which angers him. Terra then leaves, with Ven left confused and running away from Aqua. Ven waits and is soon met by two boys, Lee and Isa. The three joke about and eventually Ven cheers up.
Lee, we don't have time for this.
Lighten up, Isa. It'll only take a sec. You still play with toy swords? That's cute.
Aqua then finds and fights Vanitas, and barely wins. The masked boy leaves, claiming to be testing her. Ven then appears, asking to go with her, to which she refuses, instead telling him to go home. Aqua then leaves Radiant Garden. When preparing to leave, Terra encounters a man in a guard's uniform, claiming that the old coot that he has as a prisoner wants to see him. The man then flees. Terra, not entirely sure if he meant Xehanort, while he doubts, due to the former's status as being a master, but he decides to follow. The man introduces himself as Braig, and that he wants Terra's Keyblade. He also points towards his prisoner, which is Master Xehanort. After being instructed by the Master, Terra fights, using his darkness, and wounds Braig in the process. The man runs away. Terra is then comforted again by the elderly Keyblade wielder, who tells him to see more worlds, while calling Terra a Keyblade Master in his own right. As he is about to leave, Terra is met by Ven, who requests the same of Terra as he did Aqua, receiving the same answer. The two then leave separately. After the three leave, we see Xehanort being attacked by Braig. He is quickly knocked down by the Master, and, obviously scared, reminds Xehanort that he still needs him. After numerous encounters with each other and various Disney characters, Terra and Aqua soon arrive in a world in which they encounter two children. With Terra arriving first, he talks to one of the children, who is called Riku. Riku explains his friendship with the other boy, Sora, and Terra passes the ability to wield the Keyblade onto Riku. However, he then tells the boy not to tell anyone about the conversation. Terra leaves, and when Aqua arrives, she notes that Riku has been given the ability from Terra. Worried, she asks the other boy, Sora, to protect Riku if he ever got into trouble. She then leaves. Meanwhile, Ventus encounters Master Xehanort. Xehanort then reveals his plan to Ven, claiming that he is a pure light, as opposed to Vanitas, who is a pure darkness. Using this logic, he plans to have the two fight until his ultimate goal is created, the Keyblade, which is represented by an X-like symbol in the game, but is said to be pronounced as Keyblade for some reason, to make it more complicated. Anyway, Xehanort also claims that Ericus knew of his plan. Thinking it to be his only option, Ventus flees to the land of the departure and his teacher. Moments later, Xehanort calls out to Terra, who he tells Ventus has learnt of his true nature and left to confront Ericus. Terra leaves for his home as well. Ericus explains to Ven that he must be destroyed to prevent the creation of the Keyblade. As he is about to strike the boy, Ericus is attacked by Terra. Terra then opens a portal, sending Ven to safety, to the Destiny Islands. As the Master battles Terra, Ven encounters Vanitas, who reminds him of what he is and how it happened. As the battle between the two Keyblade wielders concludes, Ericus is struck down by darkness, by Master Xehanort. Xehanort mocks Terra, telling him to go to the Keyblade Graveyard, a place where the warriors of the Keyblades leave their mark on the worlds. At the same time, Vanitas tells Ven the same thing. Sometime later, Aqua, who, after her visit to the islands, left her in the lanes between, is recovered by Mickey and brought to his master, Yen Sid. There, she learns of Ericus's fate and leaves to find Xehanort. The three Keyblade wielders arrive at the Keyblade Graveyard and confront Xehanort and Vanitas. Xehanort reveals more of his plan, stating that he wants to use the Keyblade to unlock Kingdom Hearts. Terra runs to fight the two, but is quickly dispatched, although only temporarily. Following this, Ven and Aqua are attacked by Vanitas, but manage to escape. Ven then attempts to strike Xehanort, who grabs him and then freezes him and drops him from a great height. Ven is only caught just in time by Aqua, leaving Terra to battle both enemies. Suddenly, Braig, the man who was working for Xehanort, arrives and battles Aqua, although admitting that he is just a distraction. She is then knocked out by Vanitas. As he is about to kill her, Ventus falls himself and attacks. The two begin to battle. After the fight, Vanitas tells his counterpart that he is the source of the unversed, created from the negative feelings inside left when he was removed from Ven. Vanitas then forcibly fuses with Ventus. Seconds later, Aqua is awakened by Mickey, who arrived to help. At the same time as their fusion, a bright light is emitted, with Terra and Xehanort seeing it, with the Master shouting,
"The Keyblade has been forged!"
Then, using his own Keyblade, he then removes his heart from his body and throws it at Terra in attempt to use Terra as a new body. Mickey and Aqua see Ventus, holding a strange Keyblade. Then speaks with the voice of Vanitas, and he engages in a fight with the two. Vanitas is beaten, and the Keyblade damaged. This allows Ventus and Vanitas to fight again for control over the body inside Ven's heart. After a long battle, Ventus barely wins, but his heart is now damaged, just like it was when his light and darkness were separated. Meanwhile, we see the battlefield where Xehanort and Terra once stood. Now we see only a man, who looks like Terra, but with white hair and golden eyes. He walks away, Xehanort's Keyblade appearing in his hands. Suddenly, the armor that Terra wore starts to move. His lingering spirit battles Xehanort again, and stops him. Mickey and Aqua see the Keyblade break away, and Ventus return to normal, but he is unmoving. The blade's destruction sends all the warriors there into different places, with Aqua grabbing hold of Ven and only the lingering will remaining where it was. Some time later, we see Aqua in Radiant Garden, facing Terra, or rather Xehanort, whose memories have been lost. Aqua fights him in an attempt to free his heart, but only manages to defeat him. His body starts to sink into darkness, but she dives in, giving him her protective armor, saving him, but sacrificing herself. He then travels the darkness, and fights strange creatures that seem worse than even the unversed. Xehanort is then found by the group of people that Ventus had saved in his visit to Radiant Garden, as well as Braig. Unbeknownst to all, Ventus's heart, which is damaged, returns to the place where it was originally healed, within the heart of the boy named Sora.
Hey, can you hear me?
I heard your voice. It cut through the darkness around me. All alone, I followed the sound into a sea of light, and found myself here, with you. You gave me something back when I needed it most. A second chance.
I did?
But now I have to go back to sleep again.
Are you sad?
Would you mind if I stayed here with you?
Sure, if it'll make you feel better.
Thank you.
Well, you know, I think it worked.